Shortly after midnight, warning lights began flashing inside a Soviet military command center. Radar screens showed something unthinkable. According to the system, nuclear missiles had been launched from the United States. The countdown to impact had already begun. If the data was correct, the Soviet Union had only minutes to respond. And if they responded, there would be no way to stop what followed. At that moment, there was no room for debate, no opportunity for diplomacy. The system was designed to act quickly, because speed was considered survival. A delayed response could mean the total destruction of the country, and so the warning carried an implicit demand: decide now, or lose everything. By the late stages of the Cold War, nuclear weapons had reshaped the meaning of warfare. Traditional battles no longer mattered. Borders became irrelevant. A single launch could destroy an entire city in minutes. A full exchange could wipe out civilization within hours. Victory was no longer possible. Only survival. To avoid being caught off guard, both superpowers built early warning systems designed to detect missile launches as fast as possible. These systems scanned the skies continuously. Satellites watched for heat signatures. Radar stations tracked objects rising from the horizon. Every second mattered. But these systems were never designed to prevent war. They were designed to guarantee retaliation. Their purpose was not to ask whether an attack should be answered, but to ensure that it could be answered before it was too late. Cold War strategy was based on deterrence. Each side believed that the certainty of retaliation would prevent the other from attacking. The logic was simple and deeply flawed. Peace depended on the constant readiness for annihilation. Stability depended on the threat of destruction. That logic only worked if retaliation was guaranteed. That meant decisions had to be made quickly. Too quickly for careful verification. Too quickly for certainty. In many cases, too quickly for human judgment. As technology advanced, decision-making increasingly shifted away from people and toward machines. Computers processed satellite data faster than humans ever could. Algorithms evaluated threats in seconds. Automated systems filtered information and produced conclusions almost instantly. Human operators were still present, but their role had changed. They were no longer expected to question the system. They were expected to confirm it. Hesitation was seen as dangerous. Doubt was treated as weakness. Trust in automation became doctrine. In the early 1980s, the Soviet Union deployed a new satellite-based early warning system. It was meant to close the gap between detection and response. The system's purpose was straightforward: detect missile launches from the United States, confirm them using multiple sensors, report them immediately, trigger the next phase of response. Once activated, the system left little room for interpretation. If it detected launches, the assumption was that war had begun. There would be no second chances, no time for reconsideration. One night, the system detected what appeared to be a missile launch. Moments later, it detected another, then another. Warning alarms activated across the command center. Computer displays classified the event as a confirmed nuclear attack. According to the data, the missiles were already in flight. The system did not hesitate. It did not doubt itself. Every indicator pointed to the same conclusion. The United States had launched nuclear weapons. The countdown to impact was underway. Inside the underground command bunker, tension rose instantly. Officers understood the implications immediately. If the alert was genuine, every second mattered. Protocol demanded that the warning be passed up the chain of command without delay. Once reported, senior leadership would be forced to decide whether to launch a retaliatory strike. And once that decision was made, there would be no turning back. The missiles could not be recalled. The outcome would be final. The duty officer on shift that night was Stanislav Petrov. Petrov was an experienced military engineer. He had been trained extensively on the early warning system. He understood its purpose. He understood its importance. And he understood what would happen if he confirmed the alert. Petrov was expected to trust the system, but something about the data troubled him. The detected attack involved only a small number of missiles. That did not match what he knew about nuclear strategy. A real first strike would not be limited. It would be overwhelming. Petrov waited for confirmation from ground-based radar stations. Those systems were designed to detect incoming missiles after launch. Seconds passed. No confirmation arrived. According to protocol, the satellite data alone was sufficient. But Petrov hesitated. He knew the system was new. He knew it had not been tested under real combat conditions. He knew false alarms were possible, and he knew that reporting a false attack carried consequences. But reporting a real attack carried consequences that could never be undone. The system had made a critical error. High-altitude clouds had reflected sunlight in a way the satellite sensors misinterpreted. To the computer, the reflections matched the exact signature of missile launches. The system was not malfunctioning. It was functioning exactly as designed. But it was wrong. Petrov made a decision that violated standing procedure. He classified the alert as a false alarm. He did not escalate it. He did not trigger the next phase. He chose to wait. Minutes passed. No missiles arrived. No detonations followed. The sky remained unchanged. The system's certainty dissolved into silence. The alert was false. Had Petrov followed protocol, Soviet leadership would have been notified immediately. They would have been presented with data indicating a confirmed nuclear attack. They would have had minutes to respond. In that situation, launching a retaliatory strike would have seemed like the safest option. Once launched, the United States would have responded. Escalation would have been automatic. There would have been no opportunity to explain the error. No chance to stop the sequence once it began. Petrov's decision was not unique. Throughout the Cold War, early warning systems on both sides repeatedly failed. Radar stations misread weather patterns. Computers misinterpreted training simulations as real attacks. Human error compounded technical flaws. In several incidents, nuclear forces were placed on high alert based on false information. Launch crews prepared weapons. Commanders waited for confirmation that never came. Each time, catastrophe was avoided not by safeguards, but by hesitation. Many of the most dangerous moments of the Cold War never involved hostile intent. They involved confusion, incomplete data, systems designed for speed instead of accuracy, technology that could not understand context or consequence. Publicly admitting these failures would have shattered confidence. Both governments needed their populations to believe the systems worked. Acknowledging how fragile they were was considered dangerous, so the incidents remained classified. The officers involved were not celebrated. They were not publicly thanked. In many cases, they were quietly reassigned. Their actions did not fit the narrative of flawless control and technological superiority. After repeated near misses, limited improvements were made. Communication protocols were adjusted, redundancies were added. Some systems were redesigned, but the fundamental logic remained unchanged. Machines still detected threats, humans still had seconds to decide, and the margin for doubt remained dangerously thin. Nuclear war was not prevented by perfect systems. It was prevented by individuals who hesitated, who questioned data, who trusted judgment over automation. The technology has changed. The logic has not. Early warning systems still exist. Automation still dominates decision-making, and the time allowed for doubt has only grown shorter. The most dangerous moments in history are not always caused by aggression. Sometimes they are caused by reflection, by sunlight on clouds, by machines that cannot understand context, and by systems that assume the worst because they were designed to.